You know, with the current day and age, I hope that today's episode will really inspire people to become police officers.
Yeah.
Know? Instead of, in the constant fear of being gunned down in the streets by, the federal government.
Well, I know.
Which probably will happen. I mean, I know that's how I'm going to go out. But now I'll be in a Komatsu 355A bulldozer. That's armor plated.
Oh.
Killdozer 2, Electric Boogaloo. Hello, my name is Frederick Graves, and welcome to Hans Graves and Omens. With me, as always, my lovely co-host.
It's me. It's Taylor. Hi.
Hi. And with us, running cameras and sound, and still doing geisha face, it's Bill Bernard.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I stay constantly in blackface because this is my face.
You're getting canceled on Twitter.
Damn.
It's been a few weeks since we've podcasted. Mm-hmm. So you may have saw that we lost our beloved Spirit.
We did.
Which was horrific. And I'd like to thank everyone who did help donate and help us in trying to, find the root cause and everything. That was quite nice, which we did. And then we got really sick. So
still recovering from that.
Yeah, so it's been a rough month. But
I don't know what you mean. I think it's been just smooth sailing.
Has it?
Yep.
Welcome to the height of the 2020s. Here we go.
Well, nonetheless, it's we're happy to be back. And there was actually a news story I wanted to cover a few weeks ago, but obviously because our dog died, we didn't do that. This comes from a Pennsylvania where working in a restaurant's hard.
Yeah,
I've never done it, but I've heard it's quite tough, and especially being a line cook is like just especially one of those like jobs where it's like it's fast paced, it's pretty demanding. Mm-hmm. You're always getting bitched at, and then it just kind of sucks all around. But people do it for the love of the game. Mm-hmm. Well, this guy did it for the love of the game. So this comes from the penwatch.org from Pennsylvania. So 911 calls began to flood in to the Williamsport 911 dispatch center in regards to a male cook who was trying to take his own life by immersing himself into a high temperature deep fryer. Uh-huh. So dispatch initially reported they don't have a lot of details. A lot of people, all they hear is screaming and that, quote, a male victim went headfirst into the fryers. So this cook just was going through it. Something was happening.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I think I've had enough. And so he stripped down naked and then he dunked his whole head into the fryer and deep fried his head. And he fucking died. So don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, my thing that I think about here is, I personally have never ate chitlin. I don't have any desire to. Bless you, by the way. I have no desire to. But deep fried head. Tell me, Fred, do you think that that's something that you might find at the county fair?
Deep fried head? Probably.
I'm sure you could eat something deep fried and get some head at your county fair.
Yeah.
But deep fried head, that's crazy.
Carnies need love too.
Yeah, carnies need love too.
Yeah. Taylor, you have a news story.
I do. And this one comes from UPI. Listen, crime has just gotten out of control. A pig broke into a South Carolina home.
Okay. Sure wasn't Minneapolis?
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm sure that happened too. Let's be honest. But no, this one was in South Carolina. A neighbor's escaped pet pig pushed their front door open and just wandered into their home.
No search warrant, no nothing?
No, nothing.
Fucking pig.
Jesselyn Oliver explained in a social media post that she was inside cooking when this pig just broke into her home.
Search warrant, open the door. It's so funny.
She says, quote, I closed the fridge door and I spy with my little eye a giant pig standing in, staring in from the other end of the living room. And there is a video of her wielding a broom as well as her dog chasing the pig out of the house.
Oh.
Because, like...
He's just hungry.
Yeah.
Listen, though, like, this is also, like... You don't know how friendly this pig is going to be. In a world with boar, you cannot...
Listen, this pig may or may not be a loose cannon.
You don't know. You don't know, okay? You think about, like, wild boar.
Yeah.
They're scary as fuck.
Yeah.
I know people talk about the javelinas down in Texas. Like
Oh, yeah.
Those are scary.
You ever seen the videos of them hunting with helicopters?
Yes.
It's the coolest thing ever. I want to do that shit so bad.
I know a couple people who do boar hunting with dogs.
Yeah, it makes me think of Apocalypse Now, where he's like, oh, you got to lead them more.
They asked me how I could shoot women and children. I just say you got to lead them a little bit.
There it is.
Yeah.
Apparently, this woman said that she ended up chasing the pig all the way back to her neighbor's home just with a broom in hand. Like...
Get out of here, pig! Get out of here, pig!
Like pretty fucking much. Like this pig just broke into this lady's house and she, first instinct, grab a broom, chase it, which valid. Honestly, I don't know how I would react if a pig broke into our house.
You can't imagine just cooking and then you're like, poof, you look over and there's just a pig standing there, just being like, I want you.
No matter
Come have some of that food.
I want you to feed me.
I can say this because like one of the things that I think, especially in that moment, is it doesn't matter what it is. If an animal broke into my house, I would instinctively think that's crazier than a person breaking in.
Yeah.
And thinking about the pigs, I always love to tell people about this. When I was in Germany, I had learned about this festival where they roast pigs because the story is that so long ago there had been a town that was under siege and they had to keep the gate shut, and the only thing that they had to keep it shut was a carrot, and so a pig ate that carrot, and then the gate came open, and then like everybody fucking died, and so it became the tradition to kill pigs.
I don't think it's a pig's fault.
I'm also... You're using a carrot to keep a gate. It's a vegetable. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm sure the story gets embellished there, but that's what I was told, was that they didn't have any other mean to keep the gate shut.
You don't have like a stick?
Right.
Like a farming tool?
Guys can use a rope.
Like something other than like probably one of the like easiest to break vegetables like known to man. You know what I mean? Because like it's a fucking carrot.
Yeah.
You just
Did you go ahead and lock the gate? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, did you use like, I don't know, like rope or like a stick? I used the carrot, and they're like, that's good enough.
like,
what the fuck? No.
Did they just not?
No.
Did the people on the other side just not know that it was a carrot, and that like if you kick the door hard enough, the carrot's just gonna come out and like or like break in half?
Hey guys, I got an idea. Let's just fucking release a fucking pig in their house, and that's gonna get the gate open.
Yeah.
We can't seem to deal with anything else but the pig breaking in. That's how we're gonna do it. Forget a Trojan horse.
You know that whole back in the
pig instead.
Trojan.
I think it was back in like the 80s where those terrorists took over that 747 and the GIGN did that crazy tactical operation.
Yes.
And instead of that, they just used pigs. We released 50 heavily armed pigs inside. Well, it's basically the same thing. They
something when pigs fly.
Yeah. Speaking of pigs, I have quite the doozy of an episode today.
Okie dokie.
So,
All right.
you guys ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
I have no idea what we're covering. You've told me. I forgot.
Perfect. So law enforcement is usually done by those who mean well and actually, enforce the laws without bias. Though in the current political climate, not so much. But when cops commit crimes, it's the duty of other cops to arrest those cops. Today, I have 3 stories of law enforcement getting, the laws enforced. This is Cops Turned Criminals.
Cops Turned Criminals.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. We're going to start off today going back into the 1970s.
Okay.
With the story of Frank Joseph Coppola, who was a police officer with Portsmouth, Virginia, who was later executed.
Oh.
And we're going to find out why.
Okay.
So, Frank Joseph Coppola was born February 25th, 1944 in Portsmouth, Virginia, the youngest of 3 born to Vincent Anthony Coppola and Mary Rose Coppola. He grew up in a lower middle-class neighborhood in Portsmouth, where he was supported by his family and who were very religious. Frank was close to his father, who worked as a bookkeeper, with the 2 sharing a mutual love for athletics. In 1954, Frank's older sister died due to kidney failure, and in 1957, his father died as well. In 1963, Frank finally graduated from St. Paul's Catholic High School. So, little backstory on him.
Okay.
Right. In August 1965, Coppola joined the Portsmouth Police Department. Within his first 12 months of service, he was dismissed due to submitting a false statement to the chief of police and failing to report an assault on a prisoner.
Oh.
Coppola appealed his dismissal and was reinstated to the force after a 90-day suspension without pay. In April of 1967, Coppola was suspended again, this time for insubordination to a superior police officer. 2 months later, he was recommended for dismissal for failure to perform duties correctly on 3 separate occasions. Within days, Coppola submitted his resignation and ended his career in law enforcement. So he was a pretty bad fucking cop.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I would agree.
All these guys are bad cops. Obviously. They're all criminals.
They're in the story.
They're in the story. So over the next few years, Coppola worked multiple jobs and was a finance worker, a co-owner of a drive-in restaurant, a car salesman, and a carpenter's assistant. Between 1968 and 1970, Coppola worked as a salesman for Go Sport Motor Sales, where he was promoted to assistant sales manager. During those years, he married his first wife, with whom he had 2 sons. That marriage ended just 1 year later, in 1971, while Coppola was serving time for a burglary conviction.
Oh.
Turns out, going to jail puts a strain on a marriage.
Yeah.
In July of 1973, Coppola was released from prison and returned to selling cars because that's what you do. In 1974, he opened his own business, running automobile reconditioning firm. During this time, Coppola remarried to a woman named Karen Lewis Evans. In March of 1975, Coppola was involved in an automobile accident that left him with back pain. The accident, among other issues, caused his second marriage to fall apart. The couple struggled financially, and from January 1976, they lived off of money that was borrowed from family and friends. So, you're very wondering, what led up to Coppola getting executed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was also thinking him getting in a car accident. I was like, this is the beginning of him taking Oxycontin.
Most likely. Yeah. It's usually how that works. But it's the 1970s or late 70s. Were they using Oxycontin around then?
No, but I'm so ridiculous. I was like, I'm sure you could probably get opium from somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
You can get opium from anywhere. So Coppola and his former accomplice in a burglary conviction, that being of Joseph Mittler, along with Mittler's girlfriend, Donna Mills, and Coppola's wife, Karen, plotted to rob Mr. Peyton M. Hatchell, a wealthy used car dealer who lived in a quiet neighborhood in Newport News, Virginia. In the spring of 1978, Coppola, posing as a priest, tried to gain entry to Hatchell's home, but was unsuccessful.
Mm.
You know, I don't let priests in my house either.
Right. I distinctly remember, I told this story recently to somebody. My dad was like an outlaw biker guy, criminal. And I've talked about him before, but it was really funny of him. We had like Jehovah's Witnesses come to the door one time.
Yeah.
And my dad's a big dude.
Yeah.
He was a big dude. And he opened the door and they're like, "Hi, sir, we're so-and-so at Jehovah's Witnesses." And he just starts going, and he just closes the door. And I still think about it because it's so fucking unhinged.
That's a fun core memory right there.
Yeah. like, all right, that's kind of fucking mean, but that's funny. So anyway, yeah. So Coppola, came up and was like, "In name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." And the guy was like, no, thanks. You're not coming in. So weeks later, the group came up with another plan, because obviously the first one was pretty bad. So on April 22nd, 1978, Mills knocked on Hatchell's door posing as a delivery girl. Hatchell's wife, Mariel Hatchell, answered the door. Unbeknownst to her, Mills was armed with a gun that was hidden in some roses.
Oh, okay.
Very movie style, right?
Yeah.
So Mills, Coppola, and Miltner gained access to the house while Karen waited as a getaway driver in a nearby vehicle. Once inside, Muriel was beaten by the trio. According to testimony, Coppola repeatedly smashed Muriel's head against the floor, demanding to know where she kept all the money. During the home invasion, Peyton Hatchell returned home, witnessed the attack on his wife. The group then attacked him before fleeing with all three with 3 rings and $3,000 in cash. So, due to the attack of her having her head smashed against the ground multiple times, Mariel died of a brain hemorrhage and complications with aspiration due to vomit in her throat.
Jesus Christ.
Literally beat her head until she fucking choked her and vomit and died. Peyton survived the beating, remained in hospital for 3 weeks, requiring a permanent steel plate in his forehead from where blows were inflicted by Coppola had fractured his skull.
Jesus.
Pretty bad.
All for 3 rings and $3,000.
That's correct.
How much is that in today?
I don't know. It was 1978. So naturally they were arrested.
Yeah.
And captured, right? Captured and arrested. So all 4 perpetrators were found guilty of the crime. In September of 1978, Coppola was tried and convicted of capital murder. In case you didn't know, capital murder, usually you're going to get the death penalty.
Right.
He denied any involvement in the crime. Circumstantial and direct evidence was used against him. His fingerprints were found in Hatchell's car, and Mills testified against him, describing to the jury how Coppola beat and murdered Muriel. So not going to go super well for you.
Yeah.
And then on September 26, 1978, he was found guilty and sentenced to death.
Great.
For the roles in the crime, Miltner was sentenced to 3 life terms. Mills was sentenced to a life plus 117 years, and Karen was sentenced to 55 years as an accessory. So no one got off easy.
Yeah.
You're all in there forever.
Yeah.
So $3,000 into 2026 would be about $15,655. So like a decent chunk of money, but honestly, not worth the death penalty.
Not worth killing a person.
Yeah,
and killing another.
Yeah, it's not worth that.
Nope, can't say it is. So, in the summer of 1982, Coppola chose to drop all his appeals because he realized, well, kind of fucked. He chose to do so because he did not want to spend the rest of his life in prison and wished to spare his family any possible further agony. Coppola said he was prepared to pull the switch himself when the time came for his execution. And that time came on August 10th, 1982. Coppola was executed via, anyone want to guess?
Firing squad?
Ooh, that's a good guess.
I am, if it's not the electric chair and it's not intravenous, hanging?
Is that you're gonna guess hanging?
Yeah.
Hanging firing squad. Bill, you were so close. He was executed via electric chair at the Virginia State Penitentiary. He was pronounced dead at 11:27 p.m. At the time of his execution, members of the jury that convicted him were asked if they stood by the decision to sentence him to death, and all of them responded by saying, "Fuck yeah, that guy sucked."
Couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
This name sounded so familiar, and I could not remember why. And I found out why. Episode 2 of Haunts, Graves, and Omens. We talked about this guy. Just briefly, and it was just about his death, not the actual crime. So, after the execution, I believe it was episode 2. After Coppola's attorneys one of the attorneys claimed that the execution had been botched, alleging that the first jolt of electricity administered did not kill him, while the second jolt produced, quote, the odor and sizzling sound of burning flesh.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah, yay! It all comes back around. Episode 170 all the way back to episode 2. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
With the death chamber then filled with smoke as fire was emanating from the electrodes on his head and leg. So,
Well,
he just fucking just went, dude. Pretty cool.
my man got the job done, I guess.
It got the job done. So Coppola was the first person to be executed by Virginia in over 20 years since March 2nd of 1982, since the reinstatement of the capital punishment in 1976. Coppola was the first person to be executed in Virginia and the fifth in the United States after Gary Gilmore and Jesse Bishop and Stephen Judy. So, kind of fun. They got to listen. I get it. They fucked up.
That fun.
They fucked up. They said, "Listen, guys, it's been a long time since we killed somebody. All right, come on. Of course he's gonna catch on fire a little bit. It's like you ever turn your phone, your HVAC on, when it starts getting cold out again, smell that burning smell. Sometimes you just forget to do stuff. And this time, we forgot to put sponges on him, so he burst into flames.
That is not at all the analogy I would have guessed. You busted out
an HVAC? Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
God.
we all have our things.
Sometimes you turn on our furnace, like right in the winter.
Yeah.
Start of winter, and it gets a little. You smell a little bit of smell.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Obviously.
When you haven't done something in a long time, you kind of forget.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
It is pretty cool he bursts into flames though. I just like to imagine being like the husband of the guy who, your wife gets killed in front of you. And then you're sitting there and he's just like, Capo's like, well, I'm real sorry, guys. And they're like, he's like, burn him. Burn him. Fucking. I'm like, well, there he goes. Later, fucker.
Goodbye.
So, what do you guys think of that first story? Cop turned criminal.
My immediate thought is that I kind of feel like they were trying to make an example of like a disgraced officer to be like, no, not only do we not take it easy on our own when they do heinous things, we go a step above to make sure that that justice has been served for...
By letting a man catch fire.
Yeah. It's like
we're gonna really show all these cops. Don't be a criminal, otherwise you'll catch on fire.
Yeah, that's like fucking literally fire and brimstone level of damnation at that point.
It's pretty cool. Pretty fucking cool. So, for our next cop turned criminal, we're going to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast. All the way down to Los Angeles, California, baby. Well, actually, the next two people we're going to stay in Los Angeles.
West Side, baby.
West Side. This is the story of David Anthony Mack, who was born on August 30, 1961. He was a former professional runner and member of the Los Angeles Police Department. Officer involved in the Rampart Division's Community Resource Against Street Hoodlums Unit, also known as the Crash Unit, which I thought was a very funny name for a division. Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums. It's very 90s.
It's incredibly 90s.
Yeah.
They're the guys dealing with why. I'm gonna put this one on my face because I have to. They're the ones that are dealing with the YNs that are crashing out.
That's true. That is very true. So yeah, this is David Anthony Mack. So as an athlete, David ran track for Locke High School and was a champion at CIF California State Meet and 880 yards for 2 years in a row. He was fast as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah, he attended the University of Oregon.
Oh.
Where he ran track with his high school rival Jeff West.
Ooh.
Which is a cool name. After West transferred to UCLA, Mack considered following suit, but was convinced to stay at UO by coach Bill Dillinger, excuse me. While in college, Mack dated the world record holder in the 100 meter and 200 meter, which is by the name of Flo Jo.
Flo Jo? Mm-hmm. That's fucking sick.
Fucking cool,
I like that name.
That's a cool
nice
name. In 1970, as a freshman in the college, he finished 6th in the Olympic trials.
Oh, damn, okay.
Yeah, Mack won 3 Pac-10 conference titles in the 800 in his junior year, the NCAA Division I championship, and the 800 meter dash. He was a fucking beast. He was fast as fuck, which is like the scariest when like guys who were like super fast like that become police officers. Mm-hmm. There's a guy who I can't remember what team he played for, but he was like a professional running back for like a NFL team. He ran like some crazy like 4.2 or whatever dash.
Yeah.
And he got injured and then was like, well, I'm going to go do my other thing. And so he became a police officer. And now he's currently a police officer and he's still as big as he was when he played in the NFL and he's still as fast as he was when he played in the NFL. And I was like, I can't imagine a worse person to run away from.
Yeah.
Like,
people do it though.
Oh yeah. Well, just like, imagine like the speed and power of like Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, oh my God.
And like, you start footballing, you're like, I'm going to get away. And you look back and there's just a big ass dude just like, like I'm just going to prone out so you don't beat the fuck out of me. So as a professional, Mack ran for Santa Monica Track Club. He qualified for the United States national team running the 800 meters in the 1983 World Championships in athletics, but failed to advance to the final. He was the rabbit in Sydney Marie's 1500 meter world record, and 1 week later rabbited Steve Oviatt to pass that record. A stress fracture in his shin caused him to fail to make it out of the heats in the 1984 US ATF Championships. In 1985, he ran a 1 minute 43 second. 1 minute 43 seconds, which at the time was the fastest ever by an American and still stands at the fastest of the 9th place. He failed to advance to the heats in the 800 meter in 1987 World Championship in athletics, tested by fatigue from an iron deficiency, and his last professional race was in 1988. So basically, he was fast as fuck. Yeah. He had a pretty good career.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So he ends up joining like the LAPD, right?
Yeah.
And nothing really remarkable regarding that. But in August of 1997, Mack's lover, which is Erilyn Romero, became an employee in a Bank of America branch near the University of Southern California campus. And on November 6, 1997, Mack entered the bank and claimed he wanted to have access to his safe deposit box. Romero admitted him to a secure area where he threw her to the floor and robbed the vault of approximately $722,000.
Oh, that's big money right there.
That is a big money.
That's a lot of money.
In her capacity as a branch assistant manager, Romero had ordered double the usual amount of cash on hand at the bank on the day of the robbery. After 1 month investigation, Romero confessed to her role in the crime and implicated Mack as a mastermind, and he was arrested in December 1997. There was actually 2 other accomplices, but they were never caught. So Mack was sentenced to 14 years and 3 months in prison and never revealed the whereabouts of the money. And he was actually released in May 14th of 2010. So he's been out for 16 years. there's actually like a really weird connection to him and Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's also an interesting connection with Sean P. Diddy Combs as well.
Yes. So according to a Tupac documentary, Assassination Battle for Compton, citing official legal documents, a reliable jail informant by the name of Ken Bowenji, butcher that last name, who befriended Rafael Perez in prison. Perez claimed the money stolen in the bank robbery was intended to go to Harry Billups, also known as Amir Muhammad, who was friends with Mac, for allegedly carrying out the murder of the late rapper Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls.
Oh.
Wow.
Because Billups failed to also murder Sean Combs, the second intended target, Billups was not paid in full by his contractors, who were identified as Reggie White Jr. and David Kenner. So that's pretty fun. In his 2002 book Labyrinth, Randall Sullivan, making an assertion based on evidence provided by former LAPD detective Russell Poole, accused music producer Marion Suge Knight of collaborating with Mac and a hitman Mac was associated with, who was identified as Amir Muhammad, to murder for Biggie Smalls. A rapper, Notorious B.I.G. In April 2002, Violetta Wallace, the mother of Christopher Wallace, Notorious B.I.G., filed a wrongful death claim against the city of Los Angeles based on the evidence provided by Poole and Sullivan. In 2007, Violetta Wallace and other members of Christopher Wallace's estate filed a wrongful death suit. And let's see, the lawsuit alleged the officers conspired to murder Wallace and that Perez and Mac were present at the night of the drive-by shooting which killed him. A federal judge dismissed the case. So, was David Mack the police officer that responded to Biggie Smalls getting shot? Who knows? Isn't that kind of a crazy little twist in that story?
Yeah, because like that, I can definitely say this is the first time I feel like I'm hearing that name mentioned, because it's like
no one ever thought it'd be the cops that would be involved in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And even with that said, if you've watched the Diddy documentary,
You watch the Diddy.
if you watched the Diddy documentary that was done by 50 Cent, like it has a lot of enlightening things, but it's like there's still this mystery that's attached to everything. And it's like, until someone conclusively sits in a jail cell, they have this whole entire like big showcase that does everything. I feel like it's always going to be just that air of mystery of like, how did it really go down?
We'll never really know.
Yeah.
No.
Never.
Yeah.
Never truly know. Well, we covered two stories back to back. Frank Coppola,
Yeah.
the former Pennsylvania police officer, and Mr. Mack, former LAPD
Yeah.
police officer. One that was definitely involved in murder, convicted. One was involved in robbery, convicted. Or maybe a murder, inspired murder. But this next story will be all about murder.
Oh.
And we're staying in Los Angeles. Guys, this is the big bulk of the story. So, on February 1st, 2013, over the next 12 days, thousands of rounds of ammunition will be fired and 4 people will be murdered by a gunman's quest for revenge. This is the story of a cop turned cop killer. This is the story of Christopher Dorner.
Oh.
Yes, I've been wanting to tell this story for a while. Christopher Jordan Dorner, born June 4th, 1979, grew up in Norwalk, California, and was what was described as a middle-class environment. Nothing remarkable, just a simple Southern California neighborhood, but Dorner himself stated that he was the only African-American student in his school from 1st to 7th grade, and that he had a lot of fights and altercations due to this. I would probably say yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. This would be the main catalyst in Dorner's revenge that was, at the time, just beginning to flicker in his internal inferno grew. This is like, you'll see this pop up over and over again. This is pretty much this exact thing. When Dorner was a teenager, he wanted to become a police officer, later joining the Youth Police Explorers program offered by La Palma Police Department, the same area he would live at the time of the shootings. He graduated from Cypress High School in Cypress, California in 1997, and later graduated from Southern Utah University in 2001 with a major in political science and a minor in psychology. While there, he was actually a running back with the university football team from 1999 to 2000. It was next to impossible to find any information regarding his time playing football because it was Division I. But I do know that he wore the number 1 jersey and had at least 6 rushing yards with a loss of 2. He failed to catch a ball at one point, and that was it.
Damn.
That's all I could find. So
ain't got a lot out there.
So he was pretty okay. His teammates described him as being like quite nice. Yeah. And I actually talked about it later on, but he was kind of like suspicious of people, like waiting for them to say something racist to him. Oh, like he was always on edge that there was someone who was going to say something racist to him. Yeah. Like, always. It's never like he went to a place and like someone said something to him and then he was like, oh, fuck. It was just like, he was always on edge waiting for somebody to do that.
Okay.
Like he was always like afraid that someone would do that. So in 2002, Dorner signed up for the good old U.S. Navy Reserve as a commissioned officer. He was a CO. While there, he was a student in the undergraduate pilot training at Van Air Force Base in Enid, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah. Dorner and a classmate found a bag containing nearly $8,000, equivalent to $14,000 in 2024, which is fucking heartbreaking that in 2002, that $14,000, $8,000 is equivalent to $14,000 today.
Oh, gotta love that inflation.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, inflation is insanely.
Hurts my head. Absolutely hurts my head. So,
yes.
So yeah, him and a classmate find the equivalent of $14,000 that belonged to the Enid Korean Church of Grace. And they actually went to the police and said, hey, someone dropped $8,000.
That's not what I expected.
Yeah, and so they handed the money over to the police. And when asked their motive, Dorner said that, the military stresses high integrity, and there was a couple $1,000s, and people were willing to give that to a church. It must be pretty important to them.
Yep, integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do.
Yeah. See, look at that.
Yep. Look at that. That's the Air Force core value.
You're like a fucking MK Ultra.
Yes, yeah.
You can see his brain just like shut off, and he just started saying that.
Yeah.
Staff Sergeant William Arthur Bernard reports as ordered.
Oh, so Dorner also stated that his mother taught him honesty and integrity. So, he was a pretty good dude. Yeah. Like he was just like, hey, listen, we gotta get this money to people, and they got their money back, and big happy fun story.
Good.
It's like, all the command staff and everybody was like, hey man, good job guys, hey, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
If either of you found $8,000 just lying around, equivalent, I guess, if you found $14,000 lying around, what would you do?
Honestly, I would probably return it because I think it'd be drug money.
Yeah, that's fair.
Good. Well.
Honestly, I'm gonna say it really depends upon the state of mind that I'm in. Because like if I'm just like big time depressed, I'm gonna be like, wow, this is life trying to prevent me from killing myself. And if I'm like, in the very integrity minded, I might be like, not even just that this is drug money. I'm probably going to be thinking, this is cartel money, and they will fucking kill me if I take this shit.
Yeah, the very infamous Oregon cartel.
Hey, they're out here. They're everywhere. But I think it definitely depends on context. Like if I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, give me a sign, and then like $14,000 lands in front of me, and then like a little leaflet for a bulldozer for sale lands, I'll be like, Oh my God.
I mean, like, I have to wonder, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I have to wonder, are those like monitored because of that? Like, I have to wonder because I'm like, that was one of those sort of things where there's enough crafty guys who've got their barn finds that could probably weld something together. And so I'm like, what stopped people from trying to do it again?
That's a good question. Maybe you can do it.
No.
You should do it.
No.
You need to do it. This is your sign.
No.
Listen,
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
No.
You've got to do it. You've got to do it.
Guys, no.
Do it. So anyway, during this time,
We're trying to get viewership up.
we're trying to get
By telling people to do Killdozer Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. During his time, Dorner received the Navy Rival Marksmanship Ribbon and Navy Pistol Shot Ribbon with Expert Device. Continuing his military career, he commanded a security unit at the Naval Air Base Fallon in Nevada, served with a mobile inshore undersea warfare unit from June 2004 to February 2006, and was deployed to Bahrain with the Coastal Riverine Group 2 from November 2006 to April 2007. So, did some deployments, right? Was kind of doing that. I just like the Mobile Inshore Undersea Warfare Unit.
Yeah, I was like, and you said Nevada too, so I'm like, is that like some cover for like you worked at fucking Area 51?
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? We do like underwater stuff, inshore, in Nevada. Anyway, so wait a second.
Yeah.
Like connecting the dots there.
The Nevada Ocean, of course.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So finally, on February 1st, 2007, he was honorably discharged from the Navy Reserve at the rank of lieutenant.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Court records at some point show that Dorner actually got married and had 2 children, but the records also show that his wife filed for divorce in 2007. Neighbors described Dorner as being well admired, well liked, family man, and a guy who just kind of kept to himself.
Okay.
Just kind of a quiet guy. During his time as a naval reservist, Dorner joined the Los Angeles Police Department, entered the academy in 2005, and graduating in 2006. Shortly afterwards, his duties as a probationary were interrupted when he had to get deployed to Bahrain, as previously mentioned. On his return from duty in July 2007, Dorner was paired with his FTO, Teresa Evans. According to Los Angeles Times, Evans said that Dorner's first day working with her, he told her that he planned to sue LAPD after he completed his probationary period, in response to how the department had responded to complaints he had previously made against his classmates. And it seems that internal inferno was getting to grow even larger now. And I'll actually talk about some of the things later on. What happened during his probationary phase.
Okay.
He wanted to sue LAPD over. So, this next segment will be kind of a key turning point, if you will, in Dorner's mindset. So on July 28, 2007, Dorner and Evans responded to the Doubletree Hotel in San Pedro regarding a disturbance that was being caused by Christopher Gettler, who had schizophrenia with severe dementia. Dorner filed a report alleging that Evans had used excessive force in her treatment of Gettler, accusing her of twice kicking Gettler in the chest and once in the face while he was handcuffed and laying on the ground. LAPD would never do such a thing.
No.
They've never done it. It's never been recorded. This is not like multiple documentation of LAPD kicking handcuffed people in the face and the head. There definitely wasn't a series of riots in the 92 that were in relation to this exact same issue.
No, here's the thing is like LAPD has always been just so stand up.
Listen, when I think of LAPD, I think of
integrity.
Integrity. I think of integrity. I think of top-notch police work. I don't think of corruption. Never think of corruption. Never.
No. They've never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever. Actually.
They even had Eddie Murphy come around, do some movies with them.
Yeah.
Well, that's Beverly Hills, but same deal.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's exactly what I would say. All of that if I was an ignorant fucking idiot. So, of course, LAPD is the fucking worst. Everybody knows it. So Gettler's father testified that his son told him he had been kicked by a police officer in the head and chest. Dorner filed a report later that day, being told that Evans' evaluation said Dorner needed to improve his performance. Dorner, listen, you're not kicking people in the fucking head and chest enough when they're handcuffed. Listen, do you want to be an LAPD? Do you want to be a fucking part of the LAPD or not?
Are you trying to be a winner?
You're trying to be a winner is crazy.
You trying to be a winner?
Oh my god!
Don't puss out on me, Chris. Let's see you extend those legs, bro. Come on.
Are you trying to be a winner is crazy. That's a fucking crazy thing to say. Oh man, it took me out. So the LAPD investigated Dorner's complaint, examining the allegation against Evans and the truthfulness of Dorner's report through an internal review board of 3 members, 2 LAPD captains, and a criminal defense attorney. During the 7-month-long investigation of the complaint, Evans was assigned to desk duty. It was not allowed to earn money outside of her LAPD job. Dorner's attorney at the board hearing was a former LAPD captain, which is Randall Kwan. That will become very relevant soon.
Okay.
So the review board had testimony from a number of witnesses. 2 hotel employees testified they did not see Evans kick Gettler. Additionally, a port police officer testified he did not see Evans kick Gettler. Though some aspects of his statement contradicted photographs on scene, Gettler was brought to the police station and given medical treatment for his injuries to his face, but did not mention being kicked at the time. According to his father, later that day, Gettler claimed that he had been kicked by a police officer, and his father testified testified to that at Dorner's disciplinary hearing. I can't talk right now. Mm-hmm. In a videotaped interview with Dorner's attorney showing the hearing, Gettler stated that he was kicked in the face by a female officer on the day and in the place in question. However, when Gettler testified at the hearing, his responses to questioning were described as generally incoherent and non-responsive. Probably because he's fucking nervous being in a room full of cops that just kicked him in the face.
Yeah, fair enough.
The investigation concluded that the kicking incident did not take place and later decided that Dorner had lied. So they basically went, hey, you're a fucking liar. We've never kicked a handcuffed man in the face. We've never done such a thing.
I don't believe you.
Listen, 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, maybe. Around 92.
We've come so far.
Yeah, around 92, Dude, I actually just listened to an interview with a guy who was LAPD back during the LA riots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the most insane interviews I've ever heard in my entire life. Because they were getting involved in officer-involved shootings every day. Because people were just trying to kill cops on the streets.
Yeah.
And so they would get into a shooting, and how now, modern day equivalent, you get into a shooting, you get sequestered, right? So what happens is they shut down the street, they interview witnesses, you go back to the police station, you don't talk to anyone, wait for an investigator to show up with your attorney.
Yeah.
You tell them what happened, from your viewpoint. They take photographs of you because they're investigating essentially a murder. The person died. And you do all this, and they were literally get into shootings and be full-blown gunfight with 4 other people, and then they would go to their command center and be like, hey, we're gonna do a shooting off of 4th and Oak, and they were like, all right, put it on the board, we'll get to it, get back out there.
That's wild.
Because they were getting into shootings constantly.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Or when the whole the whole joke of everyone's gangster to the rooftop start speaking Korean.
Mm-hmm.
When the Korean shop owners were smoking people.
Yes,
they would literally roll up, and the guy was saying they would roll up in a car in a Crown Vic, and they'd be people on rooftops shooting at cars, and those cars would be shooting back one another, and they would just look at that and go, oh, I'm not going down that fucking road, and they would just take a right turn, drive off.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
they're we don't have the firepower. Yeah,
no, I've definitely thought many times it's how would how would the response be if like even a SWAT team came up against like a whole bunch of like special forces from like another nation or something that were like operating here illegally? Like how would they I don't even know what the Chinese special forces are, but like how would they react if there was like a bunch of like super well trained combatants that were like laying down the firepower, and they were like 50 men strong, so like some like platoon level type of stuff? How would they handle that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There was that one show back in the day on Spike TV where they would do that. Can't remember what that was called. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Where it was like Navy SEALs versus like Spetsnaz.
Oh yes.
And then they would do like the whole scenario thing. God, I can't remember that show's name. Anyway, so basically LAPD, they go, Dorner, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
You've been lying this entire time. So in 2008, Dorner was fired by the LAPD for making false statements in his report and in his testimony against Evans. Dorner's attorney, Kwan, who was the captain, right, stated that he was treated unfairly and was being made the scapegoat, which fucking LAPD, they would never make a scapegoat against you.
They've never done that.
They've never done that.
Never done.
Dorner appealed his termination by filing a petition for writ of mandamus, Jesus Christ, with the Los Angeles Supreme Court, basically being like, you fired me unjustly. This is bullshit. Judge David Yoff wrote, quote, he was, quote, uncertain whether the training officer kicked the suspect or not, but nevertheless upheld the department's decision to fire Dorner, according to the Los Angeles Times. The Judge David ruled that he would presume that the LAPD's accusations that against Dorner's report was false and would stand, even though he did not know if the report was indeed false. This enraged Dorner, who yelled out in disbelief at the end of the hearing, go, I told the truth, and how could this have happened? So he was fucking pretty mad. So Dorner appealed to the California Court of Appeal, which later affirmed the lower court's ruling on October 3rd, 2011. Under California law, administrative findings in this case by the LAPD are entitled to the presumption of correctness, and the petitioner, in this case being Dorner, bears the burden of providing that they were incorrect. The appeals court concluded that LAPD had substantial evidence for its findings that Dorner was not credible in his actions against Evans. Basically being like, we didn't fucking do anything wrong. You're still a piece of shit. Right. Even though I listen, Dorner, like I said, throughout Dorner's entire life, he claimed to be a victim of racial prejudice, which I'm not saying isn't true. I can almost guarantee that's true, especially giving his life and where he lived, things like that. Especially being in the LAPD, LAPD around this time, especially even in the 90s, were notoriously racist, right? I mean, we just did a whole bit on the fucking LA 92 riots. Yeah. Notoriously racist. So it wouldn't surprise to me that they were like, well, fuck this guy. Yeah. Well, it's not the guy to say fuck this guy to. Probably the worst person they could have said this to. So these events would be the defining catalyst for Dorner. That would eventually turn him into a crazed gunman. All his life, Dorner believed that he was always the victim of racial prejudice, which honestly I can't dispute. But what many of those around him during his college years described him as being overly suspicious of people. I talked about that, as if waiting for the exact moment they would switch up and cross him. It was only a matter of time before Dorner would finally explode, and then we'd go and jump to February 1st, 2013. You guys familiar with a man by the name of Anderson Cooper?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So Anderson Cooper is sitting at his office, and a package comes in for him from a person he doesn't know. So he goes, oh, that's kind of interesting. So he opens it up, and inside it's a DVD and a letter which Dorner had sent to him stating his case against the LAPD. The package also contained a bullet-riddled challenge coin issued by LAPD Chief William Bratton on a note inscribed with 1 MOA, 1 minute of angle, implying that it was shot at 100 yards with a grouping of 1 inch. Basically, a boast of marksman skills. Little did anyone know, but chaos was just on the horizon. So Anderson Cooper gets this, has no context. Nothing has happened yet. And he's like, this is fucking weird. Some guy's like crazy ramblings. You would think that the beginning of this rampage would begin in Los Angeles as Dorner takes an almost Killdozer-like rampage against the police, where he goes in and just is like fully armored and just starts just fucking killing cops.
Yeah.
No. In fact, it's a lot more confusing than that.
Oh.
Instead, it begins in a parking garage. On February 3rd, 2013, 7:30 p.m. in Irvine, California. Monica Kwan, and the last name Kwan, remember that, right? And her fiance Keith Lawrence were gunned down in Lawrence's Kia Optima just outside their condominium complex. Initially, Irvine PD were incredibly confused on what the possible motive would be to kill these two seemingly random people. Nope, these people are quite well loved. Keith was a campus public safety officer from the University of Southern California, and Monica was an assistant women's basketball coach at Cal State.
Okay.
It's like campus police officer, works at the, as a basketball coach.
Yeah.
Mate, campus police officers don't really fucking they're real cops, don't get me wrong. They're real cops. But they don't really do anything. They're like, please stop drinking. You're underage. Just please stop pissing in the park. You'll go to jail. It's not like they're like busting fucking murderers and cartel leaders and shit. Yeah. So it's kind of random.
God, I'm just gonna say this. They're usually busting like overly aggressive young men that'll be politicians later.
Yeah, truly. I can't think of any story of a campus police officer. Actually, well, there was an officer shooting from campus police officers here in Portland, but that guy was shooting people. So anyway, but while the motive seemed to be basically like impossible to find, it was actually in plain sight all along. Revenge. Monica was the daughter of Randall Kwan, the former LAPD captain who represented Dorner in his 2008 hearing.
So it was intentional, yep.
It was intentional.
Yeah.
A day following the murders, Dorner's manifesto was posted to his Facebook. The 11-page rambling mess that is his manifesto is about 8 pages of a tirade against the LAPD, his case, his firing, and how much he just fucking hates the LAPD. It is pretty incoherent. It's a lot of you can tell he was just like crushing it out and just did it all in one go. A large part of the manifesto is him basically telling cops to fuck around and find out, saying things like, I have a 50 BMG and you will lose this fight. Also a quote of him saying, I'm putting orphanages back in business, which is fucking chilling.
That's insane.
There's a whole segment in there where he goes, if you see my car and you go to call it in or try to attempt to pull me over, just know that you will not be getting the Medal of Honor that you think you're going to get. Instead, you're going to die. Dude, he was like, it's pretty fucking scary, dude.
Yeah.
That, I've been to Qatar. I've never been to Bahrain, but I'm just thinking, like, all the character flaws aside, what the fuck did that man see overseas? Because that sounds like something that would come from someone who's like deeply gristled. Dude. I've seen some shit.
I highly recommend taking a minute, maybe after this podcast, and just reading the 11-page manifesto.
Yeah, because
it's pretty intense. Because there's whole segments of him apologizing to the sons and daughters of police officers, and just going like your daddy isn't who you think he actually is, but I'm really sorry that I'm gonna have to kill him. Just letting people know that he's like, I'm gonna start killing police officers. There's nothing you can do to stop me.
That's crazy.
That's like some blood feud type stuff.
Crazy. There was also a large portion, which is about 3 pages worth, of the manifesto that is him just giving shout outs to people.
Yeah.
Such as Larry David, Kevin Hart, the late Patrice O'Neill, Lisa Lampanelli, Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, Jon Stewart, Wanda Sykes, Dennis Miller, and Jeff Ross, just to name a few.
So he likes comedians.
Loves comedians.
Loves comedians.
Loves comedians.
I'd love to hear some of their jokes about him, because that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also wrote a nice paragraph regarding the call for fair treatment of gay service members and their partners.
Okay.
Nice paragraph basically being like, hey, what the fuck are we doing? Like, they're still serving, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty cool. Calling Anthony Bourdain a modern Renaissance man, giving props to Christopher Waltz for his scenes during Django Unchained, which I was like, oh, I forget this is in 2013.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Telling Tim Tebow that he sucks ass at football.
Oh, dude.
And finally, praising Bill Cosby, quote, as a man who has spoken the truth in cultural anomalies within black communities that need to change now, which that
did not age well.
Did not age
Oh
well.
my God.
Yikes. I give this manifesto an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Too much manic rambling, but made me laugh.
Yeah.
So, with the release of Dorner's manifesto, police obviously took notice, and it was clear that he was the one who committed the double homicide, and that more violence was surely on its way. So, yeah, it's you're gonna have to go and read the manifesto, especially just the last few pages. Just go read the last. He talks about the whole thing about Larry David, and he goes, "You're right. Like 63 is the appropriate temperature for a thermostat. Like it's just like all these fucking dumb things from TV shows." They're in there. It's great. So 3 days following the release of the manifesto on February 7th, Dorner would strike. 2 LAPD officers were driving to protection detail where they were assigned security for one of the officers potentially targeted by Dorner. When they were flagged down by R.L. McDaniel around 1 a.m., McDaniel reported seeing a man matching Dorner's description at a gas station in Corona. The officers investigated the report, and they were following a pickup truck when the driver stopped, got out with an AR-style rifle, and began to open fire. Just fucking just immediately starts dumping rounds into the police officer, which grazes one of them in the head. It goes right past his ear, fucking grazes him in the head. After about 20 minutes after the Corona shooting, 2 police officers in the police department in the neighboring Riverside, California, were ambushed and shot while stopped in their marked patrol unit at a red light. One officer, Michael Crane, died shortly after the shooting. The other officer was rushed to a nearby hospital in critical condition for surgery and survived. About an hour and 25 minutes after the Riverside shooting at approximately 3 a.m., a man matching Dorner's description tried to steal a boat in San Diego, telling the boat's captain that he would take the boat to Mexico. A federal criminal complaint was filed against Dorner the same day for allegedly fleeing California to avoid prosecution for the murders. Right? So he's gunned down. He's shot. He tried to kill 2 cops already. Okay. He's killed 1.
Yeah.
Or sorry, tried to kill 4 cops. He's killed 1. Hours later, the burning remains of Dorner's vehicle, a dark gray 2005 Nissan Titan, were found on a remote fire trail by a local by the name of Daniel McGowan near Big Bear Lake, about 80 miles from Los Angeles. Investigators spread out to search for Dorner in the surrounding area, and about 125 officers went door to door. All schools in the in the Bear Valley Unified School District were placed in a lockdown because there's a fucking crazed gunman that's trying to kill people.
Yeah.
Around this time, Dorner occupied a cabin owned by the family with the last name of Reynolds, which would become a key point in the story later on. As you might imagine, everyone in the area was on edge.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the manic searching and clearing that was done during the Boston bombing, where we talk about where cops are literally going door to door and just being like, hey, does anybody come in? Whatever, can we check? Law enforcement and civilians were gripped into fear as an armed, well-trained gunman was hiding just beyond their sight. So 2 separate incidents in the early morning hours of February 7, 2013 were actually related to LAPD and getting involved in officer-involved shootings because everyone's so afraid. Mm-hmm. So at about 5:30 a.m., at least 7 LAPD officers and a protection detail of an unnamed LAPD official's residence on the excuse me here, and the 19500 block of Red Beam Street in Torrance opened fire on the back of a light blue Toyota Tacoma and shot its 2 occupants, Emma Hernandez, 71, and her daughter, Marjorie Carranza, 47, who were delivering newspapers at the time. So everybody's so fucking jumpy. So 7 cops just opened up on this car with an elderly woman and her daughter in it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, goodness.
The police, the vehicle, according to officers, was spotted exiting a freeway and heading towards the area of the residence that officers were protecting. Was thought by police to match the description of Dorner's Nissan Titan and was moving without its headlights on. Hernandez was shot in the back and Carranza received wounds to her hand. The attorney claimed police, quote, had no idea who was in that vehicle when they opened fire, and nothing about its clients or the vehicle matched the description given of the suspect and his truck. Basically being like, you fucking are just opening fire on cars for no reason.
Yeah.
The 2 women stated that they were given no warnings before they were fired upon. A neighbor said that the truck was used every day to deliver newspapers, and the woman who used it kept their headlights off so they would not wake people up. Just trying to be considerate of others. The 2 women were injured, but they both survived. The LAPD stated an internal investigation into the shooting, according to their attorney. 122 bullet holes were found in the truck.
Oh, shit.
Wow, that's amazing that they didn't fucking die.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
LAPD declined to confirm the total number of officers involved in the shooting or how many bullets were fired or if any verbal warnings were given before the women were shot. Because they were like, ooh, everyone's gonna be super mad.
Yeah, I don't even know if they were. Yeah, I don't even know if they were going after Christopher Dorner and not just like fucking Bonnie and Clyde. That's insane.
It's basically the same
insane,
amount.
Yeah.
Approximately 25 minutes after that incident, officers from the Torrance Police Department, TPD, opened fire and struck another vehicle. Like the first shooting, the incident involved a vehicle that police claim resembled the description of Dorner's truck, but was later discovered to be a black Honda Ridgeline driven by David Perdue, a white male. Christopher Dorner is a black male.
Yeah.
And is not driving a Honda, or he's driving a Nissan Titan. None of these cars look the same, by the way. Like if you look up these cars, they don't look anywhere close to the same.
No.
Huh.
They're just doing it for the love of the game, baby.
I'm thinking so, dude.
The love of the game, and we're just shooting unarmed people.
That's their favorite.
Yep. So the TPD cruiser. So here's how Perdue gets shot. A TPD cruiser slammed into Perdue's pickup, and officers opened fire. Perdue, who was on his way to the beach to surf, was not hit by any of the bullets, but reportedly suffered injuries as a result of the car's impact. Police claim that Perdue's pickup truck matched the description of one belonging to Dorner. However, the Times reported the vehicle involved, once again, a different make and color of the suspect vehicle, and that, quote, Perdue looks nothing like the suspect. They're like, it was definitely him. That's why we rammed into him and tried to fucking kill him for no reason. So in April 2013, LAPD paid approximately $4.2 million settlement to Marjorie and Emma Hernandez in regards to their shooting.
Put a fucking zero behind that number, and we're starting to get
like
somewhere.
$40.2 million?
Yeah.
The city of Torrance initially offered a $500,000 settlement to David Perdue, which he was like, you can get fucked. I'm not doing that. Perdue's case went to trial in 2014, and they settled for $1.8 million. So he goes, $500,000. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
That's, Jesus.
So I just wanted to cover those 2 fun stories. So shows you how jumpy everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone's a little bit.
Yeah.
Everyone's a little bit jumpy right now.
A little on edge.
For some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Not like a guy's going around killing cops or nothing.
Mm-mm.
So, on February 9th, CNN reported that the LAPD was reopening investigation into Dorner's dismissal so that they could reassure the public the police were doing everything in their power to capture Dorner, which I feel like is a total fucking lie. They probably knew they fucked up and they were like, well, if we're going to pretend we're going to fix it, maybe he won't keep killing cops if we say we're fixing it. No, he's going to keep killing cops.
Yeah.
So It turns out he's still mad. Authorities, desperate for Dorner's capture, offered $1 million reward for information leading to his capture. For the first time since the beginning of this rampage, Dorner's actions were described as domestic terrorism. Because
understandable, yeah.
Tips began to flood in, leading officers to search the San Bernardino Mountains via UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, right? With fears that he would head for the Mexican border. Meanwhile, in Northridge, California, multiple 911s began to flood in from a Lowe's store regarding the sighting of our assassin. So police respond. There's a heavily armed response. Pretty much all of Northridge Police Department shows up, thinking that Dorner's inside. Turns out, it wasn't him. So, I just like that. I just like that part of the story. Like everyone just shows up.
Wasn't him.
They're like, wrap it up, boys. Like, we just set up our command center, man. You know, like how fucking annoying it is. You're like, come on, guys. I just set up our talk, dude. This fucking bullshit. Talk to command. So, on February 12th, law enforcement, with the help of the Federales in Mexico, raided a hotel in Tijuana based on the tip that Dorner was there. He wasn't. So, authorities also discovered CCTV footage of Dorner. This time it's actually him buying scuba gear at a sporting goods store in Torrance, California. So they're just fucking raiding places and just going in, guns blazing. They want to find him bad.
Right.
On the morning of the February 12th, the Reynolds returned to their Big Bear Lake cabin. I assume to escape the craziness that was like the search for Dorner. They're like, let's just get out of the fucking city for a little bit. There was actually a really famous photo of I-5 in Los Angeles with this giant billboard with Dorner's face, and it's just $1 million reward. And it's like such a crazy thing to see. So they go to the cabin, right? Because they're like, let's just fucking relax for a little bit. Let's get out of the city. It's been crazy. Meanwhile, Dorner had been held up in that very same cabin for the last 5 days. Dorner captured them as they arrived, tied them up, stole their car, and then quickly moved to another nearby cabin. The family was able to quickly free themselves and call 911. It was the beginning of the end for Christopher Dorner. Which I thought about this part of the story of like, why didn't he just kill him? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I thought about it, it's like, oh, because they're not like his enemy. Like, because I like in my mind, I was like, oh, he would have just been like, boom, boom, just plugged him, and that would have been it. And they were like, well, he's a fucking crazy gunman, but he's like, these guys are, American civilians. Like, these are nothing wrong with these guys. They're just trying to go to their cabin.
Yeah.
Like, it just kind of shows his mindset, which is kind of weird.
He's really like just focused on
just killing cops.
Yeah.
It's very, very specific. So they call 911, and deputies of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department responded to the report of a carjacking, utilizing both air and land search methods, but it would end up being the members of California Fish and Wildlife that would actually spot Dorner first. And boy, here comes the fucking cavalry. Officers from numerous agencies chased Dorner to the cabin near Big Bear Lake. With nowhere to go and out of options, Dorner wasn't going down without a fight. He basically peels out of the vehicle and opens a fire on San Bernardino sheriff's deputies, hitting both. And he fucking lays down hundreds of rounds. The officers were airlifted to the closest medical center, where Detective Jeremiah McKay would later be pronounced dead from his injuries. Oh. This would actually be the final person that was killed by Christopher Dorner. Oh. But the violence was far from over. Law enforcement surrounded the cabin where Dorner was held up. No way in and no way out, but the fear was that Dorner may have a hostage, as conditions inside the cabin were completely unknown. Police initially attempted to force Dorner out of the cabin via tear gas and LRAD, hoping for a peaceful surrender. You guys know what an LRAD is?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So, some people have talked about that could quite possibly be what the discombobulator was that was used in Venezuela. And I like to point this out, how life is interesting. I had talked to people about how what I saw for the future of conflict would be directed energy weapons. And I was like, that is a broad term. We're not just talking about lasers. We're talking about everything in the visible, the whole EM spectrum.
Yeah.
And LRADs, that's a real nasty beast. That's a real nasty.
LRADs are pretty nasty. So they are launching tear gas at them. They're exchanging rounds back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And after getting nothing in return, law enforcement shot pyrotechnic tear gas, aka burners, into the cabin.
Yeah.
Which in result lights the cabin on fire.
Yeah.
We've seen this happen time and time again. This is actually one of the things that they believe caused Waco, right?
Yeah.
Pyrotechnic things.
Right.
As the cabin began to go up in flames, the sky began to grow black heavy with smoke. A single gunshot could be heard emanating from inside, followed close behind by the sounds of ammunition cooking off from the blaze. And it burned all the way through the night. The fire dies out and sun begins to rise on February 13th. Police were able to search the remains of the cabin. Of all things, a cabin. Inside the cabin, a wallet was recovered with the driver's license of Christopher Dorner. And there, in the charred ruins, lay a body, later identified as Christopher Dorner. A single gunshot would be the cause of death. The manhunt was finally over, ended by the gunman himself.
Oh.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy story.
Yes,
This.
very much
A
so.
lot of really strange twists and turns.
Yeah.
Where it's like, like I said, if you ever get the chance to pull up Dorner's Manifesto, you absolutely should, because it's absolutely one of the most fucking bizarre manifestos I've ever read in my entire life.
Oh.
I'm gonna see. Yeah, it's just like, let's see. I know I have it in here somewhere.
Yeah.
I just have it on my phone, ready to go. Christopher Dorner Manifesto. Yeah. There's a whole thing, like this one section in here. LGBT community and supporters. The same way you have the right to voice your opinion on acceptance of gay marriage, Chick-fil-A has the right to voice their beliefs as well. So,
wow.
It's
so
very...
he's just trying to play the field there.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it goes, don't be assholes and boycott, degrade their business and their customers who patronize their locations. They make some damn good chicken. Vandalizing graffiti of their locations does not help anyone's cause. It's very strange. He says, he gives a shout out to Charlie Sheen, calls him effing awesome.
It's because that man's got fucking tiger blood.
Yeah, he calls Charlie Sheen effing awesome, but in there he goes like, fuck the cops. Like, it's like very funny. He's a very, very, very strange guy. Has a whole thing about cyclists. Cyclists, I have no problem sharing the road with you, but at least go to the fucking speed limit posted or get off the road. This is a feasible quest. Live strong, you fraudulent assholes.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. Dude, this man, like, if the man had not tried to be a cop, he could have been a world-class shit poster, because that is hilarious.
Yeah.
He also talks about his like love of music. So like Dave Brubeck's Take 5 is the greatest piece of music ever, period. Hans Zimmer, William Bell, Eric Clapton, B.B. King, Bob Marley, Sam Cooke, Metallica, Rob Zombie, Norah Jones, Marvin Gaye, Jay-Z, and the King, Louis Armstrong, are musical prodigies.
My God, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a very weird letter.
yeah, it's a weird letter. I'm like, dude, like, just don't fucking be what you are, because like you obviously have some very interesting opinions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He has a whole thing about Ellen DeGeneres on here.
Oh. That didn't age well, did it?
No.
Yes.
There's a redacted church name, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it's Westboro Baptist Church.
Probably.
May you all burn slowly in a fire, not from smoke inhalation, but from the flames and only the flames. Yeah, there's just some really fun, you know.
Honestly, though,
Ironic.
I agree with Westboro, with him on Westboro, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Let's see. The honorable President George W. Bush. I never gave you enough credit for your successful presidency. There will always be. You will always be one of my favorite presidents, second favorite, and I hope this improves you greatly. So.
You being in my manifesto,
your
I hope it improves you.
No, your health improves greatly.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a whole thing, giving a shout out to Anderson Cooper. It's being like, hey, you're cool.
That's why I
calls the president of the NRA a vile and inhumane piece of shit. I mean, it's a fucking 11-page manifesto.
God. It really bounces back and forth.
It's just like it's not at all what I expected.
Yeah.
I expected it to be like
structured.
Well, no. Never structured. It's a manifesto.
Yeah.
I expect because like most manifestos we get, I will say, are predominantly more right wing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, and it's just very odd. He like bounces back and forth on like these things where you're like, he's like, George Bush, like, hope your health improves. You're a great president. Fuck the NRA though.
Yeah.
Where it's like usually those go hand in like.
Yeah.
Usually those are two things that people like support together. Like you support one, you usually support the other kind of thing. So it's just very like back and forth where I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
It sounds like he was upset, and he also was kind of like trying to, be thoughtful about people that maybe do not get much thought about.
There's a whole section in there about like how NCOs need to treat, or like COs need to treat like their lower ranks better and stuff. There's a whole section about that. It's
he
very
really
weird.
just like,
because what I was saying before was like that. I feel like more right wing shooters, like right wing based shooters, will take the time and write a manifesto, and it's usually like anti-Semitic and crazy.
Right.
But I feel like left leaning shooters don't usually write manifestos.
not as frequently.
Like not as much as right wing ones. And like I don't know, that's something I've kind of noticed. And him feels a little left. It's just kind of different. I don't know.
He strikes me as centrist, like what used to be center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, like political climate right now, if you're center, you're left, I guess. But like he strikes me very much as like center.
Definitely.
Like in the middle of the road. Yeah. Per se.
I would say looking back here, because you caught me when I was like getting ready to say something, but we went past it. I didn't forget. No,
just the way your face looked, I was like,
right. So
he has something to say.
So yes, the two things I will say, and I'll say them very briefly, is to me, it kind of sounds like Christopher probably needed a friend or somebody who
he needed a friend.
Shared the same sort of thing that he went through, and then it probably wouldn't have escalated. Also, probably with some of the good that was in the manifesto, maybe he just needed someone to fucking peer review it or something to make it more palatable. And then the other bit that I was going to say is about him looking for people to like switch up or something. I could say that I can relate to that in some regard because of the fact that being mixed, I grew up predominantly around white people. You're going to say
I actually just completely forgot because I was going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I forgot to talk about it. So the whole thing where he was talking about in his probationary phase where he was like, oh, I was being mistreated.
Yeah.
Was because when he was in his probationary phase, other probationary deputies or police officers were saying racist things to him.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to bring that back and talk about because I was reading his manifesto.
Right.
But there's a whole thing. He was like, talk about how, I just lost it. But yeah, basically the whole thing he was like probation, all the other probationary police officers were being racist towards him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But continue, please.
No, the thing that I was just going to say is growing up how I did, for me, I feel like I am very accepting of things that I think that many people who are just strictly black would probably not be okay with. And it's not that I'm like a token or anything like that. It's that I go based off of what your energy is. If you're friendly to me, you can say some crazy things, hopefully not about me, because of the fact that for me, I want to make it a place where you understand that if you say something that's crazy, I might be like, ugh, I wouldn't say that, but I'm glad that you at least ran that by me first before going out into the wild and just saying that one and then dealing with the consequences that come from it.
I think, yeah, a lot of it does like come from like intent and like having like a understanding of like, even if you're not intentionally trying to, that you can say something that you don't mean to come across the way that it does, and like being like, oh shit, like that's my bad, like let me change that, let me not do that again.
Yes.
Versus like, it sounds like he dealt with a lot of people that were just like outwardly like horrible intent, kind of thing.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you do blackface, are you allowed to say the word? I'm just asking.
I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm going through all the cameras here. I'm gonna tell you. Don't fucking do that. Don't fucking do that. Please don't. I want you to succeed in life. Do not do that. And if you're going to do blackface, also do not run for the Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah. But you know, if you're in the U.S., it might work, actually. Yeah. It might actually get you pretty far.
Yeah. They might be like, wow,
well,
that guy's got passion.
Yeah. Well, did everyone have fun?
Fuck yeah. Great time.
Talking about cop killers and cops who are killers. Pretty crazy stories, eh?
It's pretty crazy.
Well, if you had fun, please sure to rate us 5 stars in the listening app, especially on Apple Podcasts, because they apparently hate us over there. Spotify, they seem to like us. Everywhere else seems to like us, but they just hate us on Apple.
I think that's just the difference between Apple users and Samsung users.
Sure.
Samsung users are a little more cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little cooler by the blackface jokes.
No.
Forced the geisha face. Remember, Bill? I was talking about that earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. You doing geisha face? Anyway, be sure to raise your 5 stars on listening app. Like, share, subscribe. You can follow us on our socials, HGOPodcast, pretty much in everything. You can follow me on Instagram directly at ihuntthehaunted, and go check out my friends at Gas Food Lodging, which is GFL_Gas Food Lodging on Instagram. Check out their new record. I did their album artwork, and we have some shows coming up in the greater Portland area. So if you have some shows in the greater Portland area, if you live in the greater Portland area and want to come to some shows, I meant to say, come out to those shows. I'll be running merch, and I'll give you a big kiss. Pass out today.
Hi, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lunar Thrill. That's all I got. That's all I do. I don't do much else. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Bill, it's your turn.
Yep. I'm Bill. And you, no surprises there. And you.
I thought your name was Mark.
Wait a second,
Mark. Well, that's a revelation to me.
That's Billiam Bernard.
Thrill of Bill, TikTok, Snapchat. It's who I am. We love to have thrills. We love to be Bills. We love to get the bills. And this is how we pay the bills. So thank you very much.
Was it B Bill 4444?
Oh yeah. B Bernard 4444 on Instagram as well.
You know you could change that, right? Like so easily.
I'm like a fucking boomer. I feel like when I do something, it is just it. So yeah, I probably need to do a deep dive.
You're like everywhere else is like Thrill of Bill, and you're like someone else has it on Instagram. Add an underscore? Hello?
Bill _H.G.O.
Bill of Thrill. Something other than.
I need to do that. I need to do that.
Well,
You're like 70 years old.
Jesus Christ. Remember to stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
Dance, you fucking pigs.